Hello again, Andy with Handy Andy Handyman and Handy Andy on Demand. Welcome back to a project run through over in Canton. We've done a ton of work in this neighborhood over the last 8-10 years, and the repair issues on this house are typical of what we have done over here. This particular property is under contract, and the listing agent has brought us out. They've got an inspection report that the buyer and the seller are agreeing on what repairs are going to be done. You know, when you're selling a house, don't be alarmed when an inspector comes through and finds all kinds of stuff. Even if we came through here and repaired every single thing that this inspector found, another inspector will find other things. So typically they're not major things. You know, if it's rotted wood or issues like here on a deck or gutters or electrical, you want to go ahead and get those things fixed. But most things are not major. And so in this instance, we've worked with the listing agent here quite a bit. If you need a good agent in this market, we'll be happy to refer him to you. He's an amazing guy, been in business a long time, and just stellar customer service, knows what he's doing. So anyway, you can call for that. But it's me and my brother and about 30 guys running around doing these repairs. We've done it like this for about 25 years in Atlanta. So some of the things you're going to see here are things that are typical. So on this deck, and if you're not familiar with inspection repairs, basically an inspector's come out, he's wrote up a whole bunch of repairs. The buyers made a list of those repairs they'd like to get repaired before they buy the house. Sometimes you'll be able to offer a buyer cash, or maybe contribute towards closing costs or mortgage points, whatever it is. Lately here, because so many people are having trouble finding contractors to do this kind of stuff, especially smaller things, buyers want the work done, and that's kind of where we come in. So you can see someone has replaced some of the balusters here. These are these little small posts on the railing, and in some places they've used screws, which was great, and in some places where it was originally nailed, and this is why we don't do pneumatic nailing, you see where they split the piece right there. So we're only addressing what the inspector called out. So here, for some reason, and it's hard in this light, but for some reason there was a piece cut out of this post right in here, and you can see the cuts. So this is a 6x6 post. You can't do that, and then they sistered a 2x6 over the front of it to give it some strength. It looks like it was done back when the deck was built, so we'll actually replace this 12-foot post. Not the easiest repair, but we'll go ahead and do that. And then on the step itself, the inspector called out this stringer that holds the stairs in place. If you look closely, it's been damaged in a few places, and someone scabbed in some pieces up here, and then they added a 2x4 behind it to strengthen it. So we would actually pull that all out and replace the 12-foot stringer here. The carpenters will make it on site. Again, not an easy repair. If you keep your deck stained up over time, it'll hold up. The difference between what people will do is, if you look at this deck when it was built, they air nailed it, and you can see how far they had too much pressure, and they shot right through the wood in here. See the holes where the nails are recessed? And then what happens when you do that on a step, it'll split. And so if you look in here, people have come back through and nailed these things. So this is what the inspector's calling for here. So on this particular step, we'll replace this rotted tread right here and the balusters in here next to it. And then as you move up the deck, and you can see how it's like this one, as I spin on it, it's sliding under my feet. And so on the 7th board up here, this one is cracked and rotted here too. So we'll replace that as well. It's all just kind of maintenance stuff. Someone replaced the upper decking up here, and you can see again, they air nailed it instead of screws. We're a little more expensive on deck repairs, but we'll actually drill a pilot hole and then drive a screw in it. We never use pneumatic nails. Here when they painted the house, and you'll see this a lot, they had a rotted framing right here on the right side, so they put putty over it. Putty just causes more rot, and so the rot has actually crept up the door. So we got about 2-3 foot section of right frame that we'll cut out and replace that right there. If you have a deck like this, just try to stain it alternating years, and that way it's not a budget buster. So every other year, stain the horizontal surfaces, and then every other year come back and do your railings. A lot of times homeowners can do that themselves. They don't need us for that. We can get you a discount on materials, but if you'll do it in that order, your deck will stay great, you won't have expensive repairs, and you'll just be a happier homeowner. It's the whole stitch in time saves 9. You know, Ben Franklin said that in the 1700s, and couldn't be more truer today. The difference back then was people knew how to do their own work, and nobody does anymore today. It's gonna be hard to see it in the video, but right here, these 2 transoms at the top of the breakfast room eat-in area have blown seals in them. We're the only company I know of in Atlanta that can replace those in one day, typically. We have a manufacturing plant. We're able to go ahead and make those in one day. So when the guys come out to do the carpentry work, it'll probably be me coming out to snatch those windows. We'll get them made and put them right back in. Usually in Atlanta, that's a 10-day to 2, maybe 3-week window for other contractors to do that. So again, all the repairs we're looking at on this house are pretty typical. One of the things that the inspector cited was this gutter right here. You can see it's pulled off. Again, nails and spikes are temporary. We'll come back in there with a hidden hanger screw, secure that gutter, and it'll be good as new. Make sure it's draining down here. And then we come around to the front of the house, and it kind of makes me mad as a contractor. It should make you mad as a homeowner, but a lot of times people come out and repair stuff, they don't really know what they're doing, or they don't do a thorough job. And so when you see this fascia board up here underneath the gutter, you can see this little joint to the side right here. That's where it's already been repaired once. And so whoever came out and fixed it a few years ago, he only painted what you saw. That piece of wood has 6 faces to it. He painted 2. So any water that leaked in that open joint on the gutter over here, right here, has rotted it back out in the soffit underneath. So the fascia is what the gutter sits against. We'll replace that with back primed wood that's sealed on all edges. And then the soffit is the underside. And then we'll seal that gutter. So if you have gutters like this, typically gutter installers and builders are going cheap. They're not going to use a separate corner piece. And so you're not going to able to see it in this video. And again, I apologize. It's so windy out here today that we're shaking out here shooting the video. But if you could get up close on the underside of the gutter, you see screws through the bottom of it. It doesn't make sense to put screws in the bottom of a gutter. It's just going to leak. So you don't have to change that out. Just seal it every 5 years. In terms of repairs like this, the wooden repairs, the trim repairs, we have lifetime of ownership warranty on that stuff. 3 years if the house is sold. It's the strongest warranty in the country that I've ever heard of. All of our hardy plank repairs are fully transferable lifetime warranties. We do tons of deck repairs, do a little bit of everything. And so what's happened here is the buyer and the seller came together on some repair items that came up through an inspection report, and now they're getting us to price those repairs, and we'll be able to take care of that for them. We do probably 10 of these a week at Handy Andy. We've been doing this stuff forever. My brother and myself have been out here for almost 30 years, 27 years, I guess it is now. We're at 770-912-2829. We do everything except for air conditioning and swimming pools. So be patient with us. We'll do the little stuff too. And look for Handy Andy On Demand, our new company where you can prepay for 2 hours. The guys will come out ready to do the work, and that way you're not wasting your time. All that little stuff, hanging a light fixture or painting a wall or caulking a tub. All those little things you can't get anybody to do. Now if you take 2 hours off from work, you'll actually be able to get that stuff done. Take care. See you at the next house. Bye for now.